This video guide is designed to help you use the loyalty scheme on the Bright Salon app. So in order to actually add a loyalty card to your app, you need to first log into the administration area, which we can see here. We're currently on the dashboard, and then visit the loyalty cards menu item on the left hand side here. So having arrived at the loyalty card scheme, what we need to do first of all is decide what we're going to call our scheme. We have to fill in the loyalty card name. You can use any name you want. Try and keep it relatively short so it fits on the screen nicely. I'm going to call this scheme my new client reward scheme. The next thing I need to do is choose a code to be used for scanning when I actually add stamps to clients' schemes. So in this case, I've got 20 to choose from. You will have received a pack of cards to use, which will correspond with these numbers. I'm going to choose QR code 1, and that's the card that I'll use when I'm scanning phones, and I'll cover that a little bit later. So having chosen the name of the scheme and the QR code that I'm going to use with the scheme, I then click Create New. That adds the scheme onto our system. What I need to do now is add stamps and offers to the scheme. Now, each scheme can have up to 10 offers or 10 stamps, or a mixture of offers and stamps. In the case of this particular scheme, what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage my new clients to come to me 3 times by offering them a 3-stamp scheme with an offer at the end. And if they get the offer, they'll receive the reward. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in a stamp. That's the first stamp they have to get. Then they have to get a second stamp. Then the third stamp is actually going to be the offer itself. So I then choose offer, and the detail is 20% discount on any salon service. You can decide whatever you choose to provide as the reward. So what I've now got is a 3-stamp scheme, with the third stamp actually being the offer itself. Once I'm happy with that, I click Update. And then to look at that scheme, I can go back to loyalty cards, and there's my scheme with the stamps on it. Now, I can either use the card that I've been sent through the post, because you've been sent a number of little cards, or I can print the QR code from here. So I can click print here, and it'll print off on my printer, and I can have that by reception if I want to. So the cards aren't absolutely necessary, they're just there to give you a little bit of extra support should you need it. So I can add up to 4 schemes, so I'm going to add a second scheme, and this scheme I'm going to call Client Rewards. I need to choose a QR code, and again, if I want to, I can choose the same one. I can choose QR code 1 here, but I'm going to choose to use a second QR code just to keep them separated. But you don't have to if you don't want to. So having created the client reward scheme, I'm now going to click my add stamp so I can add the stamps and offers. So the first time they come in, or the first time they use the reward, I'm just going to give them a stamp. Second time, I'm also going to give them a stamp. But on the third time they come in, I'm going to give them a halfway offer, if you like. So I'm going to give them 10% discount off any retail product. The fourth time they come, I'm going to give them another stamp. And the 5th time, they'll get another stamp. On the 6th visit, I'm going to give them a free blow dry. And then finally, on the 7th time they visit, I'm going to give them another offer, and the final offer is 20% discount on any salon service. So there's my scheme. Now, having done this, I might think to myself, well, actually, it might be nice to have my free blow dry here. rather than down here, and that's easy to do. What I can do is I can just sequence these over here. So I can choose this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this one 4, and rather than this one being 5, I can make this one 5, this one 6, and finally this one 7. And you can see that they're currently out of order, but if I press update now, it'll now reorder them and put them in the order that I want. If I want to edit any of this information, okay, so if I want to change this, I can say, okay, well, let's put free blow dry with any cut. And there we go, there's my scheme done. Then finally, I click update, and then click over here to loyalty cards to go back to the loyalty card area. And there's my 2 schemes. So having created the loyalty schemes on the admin area, we can now look at the app to check the rewards are working correctly. You can see here that we have the 2 reward schemes that we've set up, the new client reward scheme and the client rewards. So if we choose the new client reward scheme, you can see the 3 stamps we've set up, and you can see that getting all 3 stamps will get the 20% discount reward. So in order to get these stamps, we need to scan the QR code. Now I'm going to use the computer just to scan the code. You can see that when you scan the code, it tells you that it's successful and it puts a tick in the box. You can use the cards, of course, as you see here, and if you just scan those, then the same thing will happen. When you get to the end of the scheme, and you, in this case, the 3 ones, then it tells the client that they've reached the reward. They can show that to the receptionist and claim their reward. And then once they reset, it goes back to the beginning and they can start again, in the case of a scheme that goes on and on and on. We're just going to look now to see what happens when we scan the wrong code. If you use the wrong QR code, you can see at the bottom of the screen it says that it's not matching. So you need to make sure that you're using the right code for each scheme. And then again, within this scheme we've got the 7 stamps, and you can see the rewards happen along the way. So by scanning each stamp, you'll find that a tick goes into each box. If you want to give them more than one on one particular visit, you can scan the scanner twice, and then I'll just put 2 ticks in the box for you. And then you can see as you go through and scan each of the rewards, when they get to the rewards, the little star is completed, telling you that they've reached that milestone. And then going through the scheme, you can continue to scan on each appointment that they turn up, and then eventually they'll reach the final reward, in this case after 7 appointments, and then it'll tell them they've reached the reward to show the receptionist, and then they can reset it. So that's the loyalty scheme. Any questions, please do give us a call. Thanks a lot.